This week's recipe of the week is cilantro lime chicken. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome to the Long Run with Joel and Christy. I'm Christy, and this is the recipe of the week, cilantro lime chicken. Hopefully I get everything recorded this time because I've done this one time before and I lost the clip where I actually put the recipe together, which would be the most important part of the clip, right? All right, so let's start. This is a slow cooker recipe, so it's really easy. You're really just dumping everything into a slow cooker. Also, you can put this all together in advance and put it in the freezer and then just take it out the day that you want to put it in the slow cooker and go. So this is one that we originally used to use from a freezer meal. The difference between the way that we make it now and the way that we did back then was we do buy no salt added black beans to reduce the salt in this recipe, because freezer meals sometimes tend to use a lot of canned foods that have a lot of salt in it, and so it's not needed. If you want to do it in a little bit healthier way, try to get no salt added veggies. They cost, like 15-20 cents more than non-salted, which is weird, but that's the way it is. All right, so we are spraying down our slow cooker because I don't use cooking liners. If you do, that's fine. I just choose not to do it because I want to make sure that, I'm not spending money on the plastic cooking liners that's going to end up in my garbage can anyway. But if you feel like you need to use it because maybe of a time crunch or something like that, go for it. When I'm done, I always spray it, and when I'm done with the dish, I put it in the sink and let it soak overnight, and usually by the next morning I'm able to put this part into the dishwasher without any problems. Okay, so here we go. This recipe calls for 1 pound of chicken, but what we do with this recipe is we do double up the recipe because we want to make sure that, one, that we get leftovers from it, and two, that we have at least 2/3 of our slow cooker filled up. If you don't use a certain portion of the slow cooker, then it overcooks during the cooking time because it doesn't have as much, so it's not filling up the space as much. So that's just a little tip for you. If you have a recipe that doesn't fill up at least to like 2/3 of your slow cooker, double up the recipe, make it, and then you can use it for leftovers. You could even freeze the leftovers on most recipes. Okay, and because we are doubling up, we have 2 cans of black beans here, like I said, rinsed and drained, and in our case we went for no salt added black beans. We also have 12 ounces of frozen corn. We did not double up on that, which is odd, but that's how we do it. And that's just mainly because we forget to buy 2 bags of it. But we are adding 2 cloves of garlic, a bunch of cilantro that I've already cut up. Comment below and tell me, do you hate the taste of cilantro? It's kind of, I've read a thing that said that for some people there's something about their taste buds that makes cilantro taste like soap to them. But other people, it's fine. If you like onions in your food, again, we don't use onions in our food. It's just a taste preference. We don't like the texture of biting into an onion. But if you do, that you would also put some onions in there. I put salt in there. We do put a little salt in it because we think that if you don't have any salt in your diet, you can, unless you're on a high blood pressure medicine or have a heart disease, if you don't put salt in your food and you use very few processed foods, then you may not have enough salt in your diet. So we do put a little bit in there, but we do look for a like pink Himalayan salt or something like that, not just standard table salt. Okay, so that was just a little bit of salt. And that's why we prefer to use that instead of the salted black beans for salt, because the salted black bean salt is going to be your standard table salt. It's not going to be high quality salt like that. Okay, so that was salt and pepper, and then we got 1 teaspoon of cumin and 2 limes. Say limes. We have a limited space here in our kitchen, and that's how you'll see that we don't have a ton of kitchen utensils, and I hope that encourages you to know that if you don't have a kitchen utensil that a recipe's calling for, then see if there's another way to do it. So like a lot of people would probably use like one of those lemon squeezer things for their to squeeze their limes, and that's fine if you have one. Again, limited space, I don't have one, so I just put some muscle into it. And then we're going to just do this number. Also, I was going to mention that chicken does say in the recipe, that the original recipe that we had, to cube it, but we've actually found it works just fine like that, so you don't have to cube your chicken for this recipe. Just main thing is you want to make sure that you got it well covered up by the other ingredients. There's not a lot of liquid in this recipe, so you do want to make sure that your chicken is at the bottom of the pan so that it doesn't burn. And that is another reason why we double up, because if we did not double up, the corn in this recipe would actually start burning. Got the top on it, and we're going to set it on low for 8 hours. Low, 8 hours. And we'll pick it up when it is finished. After the 8 hours are up, you just need to shred the chicken inside the crock pot. When we prepare our bowls, we just put some rice down in the bottom, then put some of the cilantro lime mixture on top, and then just mix it together. On the second night, we often take the leftover mixture and rice, and we make burritos out of them, and just warm it up, roll it up, and then put it in the skillet and just brown the shells on each side. And that is how we make it stretch out for 2 or sometimes even 3 nights. Well, that is all for this week's Recipe of the Week video. We hope that you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch our grocery haul videos, and you can vote for the next Recipe of the Week video. And until next time, this is Christy with The Long Run with Joel and Christy saying, it's a long run. Give yourself a little grace. Bye.